ASMR. Hey everybody, today's story is a short experience that was posted by TraumaticDramatics in the free horror stories subreddit of Reddit. They have posted their experience in hopes that someone who has possibly experienced something similar or has read something similar themselves and can kind of help them explain what it was. They're really skeptical and they're looking for a more logical explanation. The story is called I'm Looking for a Logical Explanation or Similar Experience. So a couple of days ago, my boyfriend and I were driving up his road that's in the middle of the woods. And as we turn a corner, we first see the deer. The deer didn't even flinch at our car coming up the road, which was weird. Then we saw it. Now, I'm not normally a scared person, but seeing this thing almost made me piss myself. It looked as if it was talking to the deer. It had to be at least 8 feet tall, very thin, and it was all black with wings. It flew up right in front of the car, and my boyfriend slammed on the brakes, turns to me and says, "Tell me you saw that," and asked me to describe it to him as to make sure he wasn't going crazy. I did, and we sped all the way home. This all happened in about a minute, although it felt like longer. I was telling my dad about it, and he saw the exact same creature years earlier at my sister's bus stop. He had tried to convince my sister it was a garbage bag or something. But my sister's response had been, "Daddy, that thing was too fast and too big to be a trash bag." And all my dad could say was, "I don't know." If anyone has any idea what this could be, a comment is appreciated. I'm very skeptical about this, and I'm looking for a more logical explanation. So there you go, you guys. If anyone has seen a similar creature or has heard of someone seeing a similar creature, or if you might have some sort of an idea of why they think they saw this creature or what a more logical explanation could be, you can feel free to go to the free horror stories subreddit and look for TraumaticDramatics little post and leave a comment. I've obviously never experienced anything like that, but I have thought that I've seen things out of the corner of my eye that weren't there, like a man all in black running away from a graveyard near my house when I was growing up. That was probably just my imagination, but what this person's describing doesn't really sound like something that you'd just see out of the corner of your eye. It sounds like they literally got a good look at this thing, so I don't know. And, looking around on this subreddit and, stories that I've read over the years about Bigfoot, Mothman, the Almas, the Yeti, all that stuff. There's lots of stories out there of people that have seen really weird and creepy things, and I'm sure most of us think it's crap, but I'm sure everyone does until you actually see something that freaks you out and you can't explain it. So who knows? I consider myself really open-minded about the whole thing. Sometimes I think that the reason why I've never had like a haunted experience or seen a ghost or whatever is because someone out there is looking out for me. Like, they know that it would scare me so bad I probably wouldn't be able to function at night anymore. So maybe someone's out there looking out for me and they're keeping the ghosts away. I don't know. I've always loved reading about ghost experiences and, creepy creature stories. Like, at one point I was obsessed with the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot and reading people's ghost stories. But as morbid as my reading interests are, I would be seriously creeped out. I really don't know if I could function. I always find myself reading about the creepy stuff, whether it be ghosts, creatures in the night, true crime novels, kidnappings, shootings, just horrible things. I don't know, I can't really explain it, because if I ever experienced anything like that, I would be terrified. I don't know, I think sometimes there's this morbid curiosity where, if you've been blessed enough to have never experienced something as traumatic as a haunting or knowing someone that's been murdered or kidnapped, etc. I think there's like this, you feel removed from it, like you're horrified, but you're also just, you can't fathom it. You're morbidly curious about how something like that could happen. Or like when someone disappears and they've gone missing and no one knows if they've been kidnapped, if they killed themselves, if they were murdered, if they're still alive somewhere. Like, you just, I don't know. You get morbidly curious about what really happened and how this stuff happens. I don't know, I might not be explaining this good enough. Because I love the IT channel. I have so many books on ghosts and hauntings and true crime stuff. But I am like the least, like you would not look at me and think that I had morbid curiosity or morbid interests or whatever. You would not think I had a morbid bookshelf. But you know, a lot of us like to watch the ID channel. I can't explain that. But I'm the type of person that would, like, doesn't even stick up for myself or speak up for myself. You know, I'm really quiet, so, you know, the type of person in school that never did anything wrong except for giggle, you know. So I'm not, like, nuts or something. Oh gosh, this turned into a ramble, and this ramble is like twice as long as the story was. But anyway, I am so far behind on making videos, watching videos, leaving comments on videos, responding to comments on my videos. I'm finding it a little bit harder during the summer. At first it was easier because my son had my teenager had his time clock messed up, so he would stay up literally all night and then sleep all day. But his dad and I wanted him to kind of get into at least a little bit of a better schedule because school starts up next month. So he has been falling asleep now at anywhere from 7 p.m. to 8:30 and sleeping p.m. and then sleeping until 3:30 or 4 a.m., which is much better than it was because at least he's up during the day now. So when it is time for school, you know, he won't be totally miserable. So it's getting better. But the good thing for me about when he was sleeping all day was that I could make videos while my husband was at work. Now the only time that I could do a video like this is right now at half an hour until midnight. You know, a couple hours before my son actually wakes up. It's the only time I actually have peace and quiet, except for the trains that go by and the damn cats. You know, it doesn't matter during the day if I make an eating video or a bubblegum blowing video, but I've been wanting to make a whisper video again, so. And I didn't even feel like this one was that great. But, I don't know, some people like the rambles. It actually looks like on the Reddit underneath their story that a couple people have commented, and one of the people, I believe I read their story a while back. And they posted something positive. Of course, someone else posted that it sounds 100% made up, and that's expected. But anyway, I don't know. I probably should have just picked 2 other stories to add on to this instead of just rambling. But of course, you know, I didn't think of that. I was just trying to quickly put out a video. Oh, jeez. Jeez. just don't know. You know what? I'm gonna see if I can add one more short story to the end of this. I will make sure that I put in the description to this video that this is a story, a long ramble, and not another story. A Wendigo broke into my house. Before I begin, I'm a 16-year-old male. About 3 years ago, I was in Virginia visiting family over the summer. We were right outside the DC area and staying in a 2-story house near the freeway. On the other side of the freeway was a forest. So my mom, her boyfriend Eric, and I were all staying with Eric's parents. We had brought some night vision binoculars and decided that tonight was the perfect time to use them. So after dinner, we gear up and head out. We pass under the freeway and head into the woods. When we get about 5 minutes into the forest, we set down our bag and take out our binocs. My mom looks around with them for a while, seeing a few squirrels here and there. She gets tired of them and passes them to me. I look around for a while, being careful not to look at the freeway for fear of being blinded. I spot something behind a tree, about 50 feet to our left. I concentrated on it, trying to figure out what it was. It looks like a pale, bald, anorexic man looking straight at us from behind the tree. I get a bit uneasy, but I'm hesitant to believe it's really there. I ask Eric to take a look just in case. To my despair, he sees it too. He describes it much the same way I did. Now, Eric is a former amateur boxer, and I train MMA almost every day. But neither one of us wants to stick around with that thing. We started heading back to the house, crossing under the freeway. We take another look behind us as a car comes by. All three of us see glowing eyes lit up by the headlights on the other side of the freeway. We say fuck that and head back to the house. When we get back, Eric's parents are asleep, and my mom and Eric go upstairs to the guest room. There's only one guest room, so I have the couch downstairs. I'm a little too excited after seeing the thing in the woods, so I end up staying up all night. Around 3 a.m., I'm watching TV and start hearing footsteps above me. I immediately remember our earlier encounter and panic a little. I try to calm down and tell myself it's just one of the dogs, or maybe someone who couldn't sleep. I keep hearing the footsteps for a while, until I hear a doorknob jiggle. I find it weird that they're trying to open a locked door, but try to ignore it. They stop, walk around for a few more minutes, and then it's quiet again. I stay up until the sun starts to come up and then pass out. My mom wakes me up, and I remember the footsteps from the night before. I describe what happened and if one of them got up at any time. She says no, and then it must have been one of the dogs. That is. And she tells me the room above me is the office. No one was in the office, and the door stays locked at night. My heart sinks as I piece it all together. I didn't know if it was that thing for sure, but I think it was. I've done a lot of research since then, trying to figure out what that thing was that night. I found 2 creatures that seemed to match it. I think it was either a skinwalker or a wendigo. Whichever one it was, I'm just thankful that door was locked. I know I wouldn't be able to fight that thing, no matter how tough I am. Okay, you guys, that was written by Bloodhunter62 in the Reddit Free Horror Stories subreddit. Okay, I am going to now end this video and hope that the sound was okay.